Hello and welcome to Coog Cinema Reviews. My name is Badkoubeh.
And I'm Diane Baumann.
And today we'll be taking a look at Disney's The Emoji Movie.
That's not the movie we're reviewing today.
Wait, what?
We're reviewing Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Oh! Hello and welcome to Coog Cinema Reviews. Today we'll be taking a look at The Emoji Movie, if it actually had a real plot, original storyline, and original characters, and a lovely message for children. Let's take a look.
Wow.
Disney has been producing animated features for the past century, and one of the things that the studio has been most well known for is not really doing a lot of theatrical sequels. Now, there was that time where they went on a binge of releasing Disney DVD sequels, but we tend to forget about that time period. Disney is not really known for doing a lot of theatrical sequels, and so Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, is one of the first theatrical sequels that Disney is bringing back in a long time, and is setting the pace for what future Disney sequels are expected to give to audiences, with Frozen 2 coming in the future. Now, Wreck-It Ralph 2 takes place in the same video game world that we saw before. However, now Ralph and Vanellope are having to explore the greater world of the internet. They have to save Vanellope's game from being unplugged, and the way to do that is to go find a part that is stored somewhere in the vast world of the internet. Did Disney do well on delivering a sequel, or should they just go back to making their original films? Let's take a look.
Why didn't you tell me I was in the presence of a genius?
Let me just start off by saying that for everyone that hated the Emoji Movie, if you solely hated the Emoji Movie for the fact that it had a lot of product placement in it, but you go in and you like Wreck-It Ralph, then you're a hypocrite, and you should know that. But if you hated the movie for reasons like, oh, it didn't have a creative plot, the plot was pretty predictable, and it didn't really do anything to expand on the world that they created, then yeah, by all means, you're justified. Wreck-It Ralph did all of that and blew it out of the water. Ralph Breaks the Internet dove into a lot of themes that honestly were pretty new and really good messages to both children and adults and teens. And again, Disney did a really well job of hitting a message that hits home to all ages. And so they kind of touched on this theme of friendship, which was really awesome. It was a really good lesson about how basically friendships need to accept each other, and that you all might be going on different paths in your lives, but that at the end of the day, that shouldn't stop you from being the friend you're meant to be. It dealt with a lot of acceptance, and as far as like the plot and the storyline and everything, Disney did another great job of not necessarily enforcing a villain into the story. The way they handled the whole villain situation was really interesting, and I like that they called the characters out on a lot of their flaws and things that you were thinking of throughout the movie. They called their characters out on it, which was really good. I think that an animated movie should be able to, even with its main characters that kids are like looking up to and stuff, be able to show and highlight how they're still, you know, not perfect, because none of us are all perfect.
I really like how like the main villain of the movie was the emotion of jealousy, and how insecurities. Yes, I love how they used that, and they made the emotion, this negative emotion, the villain, not the person, respectively. And I think that that's a good lesson to teach children. The whole you can be a good person and make bad decisions.
The person isn't necessarily the bad thing, it's the trait, the insecurity, that is a bad thing. Although my only critiques for plot would just be that the first 15 minutes were kind of weird, because the characters were just sitting there talking about the plot, and it felt like they were explaining to me why this movie existed, and I kind of just wanted to get into it, but you know, they were spending time being like, don't you feel like you want more in life? And it was like, okay, I guess, like,
I feel like they could, like, without that whole justification of Vanellope wanting more, I feel like they still could have, like they would have just gone to the land of the internet just because they wanted to, because they love adventure.
The characters that we all know and love are there, but the only two that actually stay throughout most of the film are Ralph and Vanellope. The rest is a whole new cast of characters. I love the new characters. I think, like, this is how you introduce new characters to a world. I was invested in all the new characters. Like, they had unique personalities that matched like what website they were coming from and stuff like that. And just their designs were really unique to who they were, the world, the game that they were coming from, stuff like that. Their personalities were very vibrant, and like I said, it was very easy to invest yourself into them and follow along with the story. And also the world building and world expansion that they did from Wreck-It Ralph in the first movie to this movie is amazing. To go from the small game of the small world of their arcade to now seeing them basically visualize what the internet might look like was so fascinating, very well done, and very original and creative, and I like that.
Yeah, I love how like the characters also like covered all aspects of the internet, like pop-ups of like the
spam and stuff.
No, yeah,
Troll.
And then Yas.
Yeah.
The
BuzzTube, like,
analysis, like coding for like what videos you should want to watch, like knows more, like the search engines. Like, I love how they covered almost every aspect of the internet on there.
And Ralph goes through a lot of development, and at the end, his development is a little bit slow to progress, but by the end, when you realize what his development is, it really hits home and it's amazing. Same thing with Vanellope. I do like seeing her development. Actually, one of her biggest moments of development is the big scene that everyone's talking about, where, speaking of characters, all the Disney princesses show up in the scene, and honestly, the Easter eggs and cameos that were made in this movie were also another one of like the most enjoyable things to happen. So all the Disney princesses make a cameo, and fun fact, from Ariel on to present day Moana, all those princesses were voiced by their original voice actresses, so, you know, look out for that. But overall, I loved that scene, the satire, the humor, the way they make fun of themselves, of the Disney princess trope. Like, it's all there, but it's just all that much more and everything that you would want. And honestly, like, this was like on a mini scale what it felt like to see all the Avengers come together. This sounds so dumb, but to see all the Disney princesses in one room and interacting with each other, like, that's 2 decades of Disney history that was in a room, and was just like I never thought we would see that, but we did.
Yeah, and they don't do it tactfully either. Like, they have each Disney princess's personality into like their few lines, and it's a very nice, homely scene.
I gave my mommy a cake, she turned into a big bear, my Aldrin tried to dare in. If that's not a pure mess, I don't know what is.
We can't understand her. She's from the other studio.
The animation of the movie was, as usual, very well done. It was what you expect. It matched the first Wreck-It Ralph movie. I think there were a lot of things that definitely seemed like they stepped up, and I think that was because of kind of to reflect a transition from, you know, the animation of video games to like the animation of internet.
I really liked how like there was the different animation styles with like comparing Slaughterville to like Knows More, and like the different like internet users. Like, the internet users were very like blocky and like stop motion-ish, and then with Slaughterville, with Shank, like, she was very fluid motion, very more realistic, like, I would say, in her animation, and I thought that was like a really cool aspect to bring that to the internet.
Slaughterville was one of my favorite worlds, and I think you liked it too, just because of how realistic it looked in the animation. That, like, Disney picked that game to show off their advances in animation and stuff, and it looked really, really good. That's pretty much all our thoughts. I highly recommend this movie. It was a great sequel, a great follow-up. Fans of the first Wreck-It Ralph are going to 100% love the sequel. If you're a Disney fan, you're gonna love the sequel. If you're an animation fan in general, I recommend watching this in theaters. Go support it this Thanksgiving holiday, and even while it's still in theaters throughout the Christmas break. It's definitely a worth watch. And who knows, this might be the only good sequel from Disney we get, because we all know that next year we're getting Frozen 2.
Yay!
Overall rating, I would give this okay, we'll say our rating, and do you know what you're gonna rate it?
Yeah.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1, I give it a 9.
Oh my god!
Oh, twins!
I know.
If you liked Wreck-It Ralph and you went and watched it, be sure to leave a comment down below. We want to know what y'all thought. Do you think Disney is going in the right direction making sequels? And of course, if you want to see more Coog Cinema Reviews,
remember to subscribe and smash that like button, hit the bell notification icon, and
so you can be notified every time we upload a Coog Cinema Review. Be on the lookout, because we got a lot more animation coming out for y'all. For Coog Cinema Reviews, this has been Kiyan, Badkoubeh,
and Diane Baumann.
and we'll see you guys next time.